Hey there, welcome to the FanSaves Helps Shop Local series. I'm your co-host, Kris McCarthy, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with David Joyce, who is the owner of the Treblecock studio in Peterborough. Hey, how's it going today?
It's going great. Thanks. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. Coping with COVID-19, but happy to be speaking with so many great business owners like yourself on a daily basis. So why don't you start by telling us about the Treblecock studio and maybe a bit about your background?
Sure. So the studio is a audio and video recording studio. So I can record music here, and I can supplement that with video to go with it. So it's kind of like a two-in-one deal. I've been recording and editing audio and video both for over 30 years. I started with a cassette player and learning how to manipulate it and turn it into multiple tracks and stuff like that, to the point where here I am, downtown and underground Peterborough.
That's amazing. My co-founder would have a great story about cassette tapes and may or may not have sold them in high school, but that's a whole other story. Looks like you have a pretty great studio there. Like, why don't you tell us about that? Like, how old is your facility and kind of like what kind of things do you record there?
All right. Well, I opened here in June of last year. So this June, I'm hoping I get to celebrate it with people and not isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah, celebrate my first year, right? So
Wow.
I started out with a small home studio in Ajax, and then I discovered the music scene here in Peterborough was just like off the charts. And so I found this sweet little spot here, and like I said, I opened it up last June. I was doing really good. February was amazing. It was my best month. And then, yeah, and then the wheels fell off the bus and somebody ate a bat or something. And now here I am talking to you.
That's it. So how have you been able to cope during these times? Like, what kinds of things are you doing to kind of keep the brand alive and to plan for like when things become normal again or the new
Yeah.
normal, as they say?
Well, I did need to find something to do because, as a new business owner, I was working like 12 to 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I went from that to nothing. So, um, I got together with like 8 of my friends, and we did a self-isolation song together. Everybody recorded from their place, and I took all the audio and video from them and mashed it all together. And if anybody wants to check that out, it's on my website, treblecock.ca, and you can watch me and 8 of my friends play a song together. So that's something that's kept me busy. And I've been in contact with all my clients, and most of them are on self isolation, so they've been writing like crazy. So they're excited to get back to it as soon as they're allowed. I've bought some equipment so that when everybody does get back, they're going to be able to. I don't know if you can see this foam pad here, but I bought 100 of them,
Wow.
so everybody's going to get their own screen, and that way, they're not going to be contaminated by other people and stuff like that. So I have made preparations for when we can get back at it.
That's really cool. It's great that you've been able to adapt and that you're planning ahead. Right now, your business is on the FanSaves Helps gift certificate program. It's
Yep.
live. People can go and support you by buying gift certificates. Maybe talk about like what those gift certificates would buy for them, like
All
studio
right.
time or
Sure.
like
Yeah, it would definitely be studio time. What I could do is I could give you some examples of, just before we closed up here, what kind of clients I had coming into the studio. Um, I had an actor come in. He was auditioning for a musical. And so he recorded 6 songs here. He recorded his vocals over music and basically made an audition tape to send in to the producers. So that was pretty cool to do.
yeah.
I had some parents bring in their 13-year-old daughter for her birthday, and she sang. It was, basically kind of like karaoke style, but she sang over some Billie Eilish songs and Adele and Cranberries and stuff like that. And then she was able to take home her songs recorded with audio and video, like just like doing a music video.
Yeah.
I just had a band come in just before we shut down. They just got in under the wire. They did 4 songs live off the floor, and so they got to, they got to have that really cool live sound together, and it was more cost effective for them because they were able to do 4 songs in one day. And so, yeah, that's the kind of thing that I've been doing here, and so those gift certificates could be used for all of that for sure.
That's awesome. That's great to know. Before we hit record, we were talking a little bit about the business, the studio. Maybe tell us more about the background of how the name Treblecock Studio came to be. There's a story around that, I hear.
Yep. So this is my favorite coffee mug. It's from my favorite coffee company, and they're called Treblecock Coffee. So when I heard that name, the first thing I thought of was like trouble, as in treble clef. And I thought, what a great name, and nobody else will ever think of that. So I got the name.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
great. And if someone wanted to learn more about the Treblecock Studio, like where could they go outside of your website to kind of get more information about what you do and everything
Yep.
about the studio?
I'm on the social media, so I'm on Facebook. I do a lot of things on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I don't really like Twitter, but I'm learning to get on there and try and do some stuff. But yeah, you can find me anywhere. I just with that isolation video I just did, made it on Global News there and the
Awesome.
local papers and stuff like that. So you should be able to find me pretty easy with a Google search.
That's great. Well, David, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to tell us more about the Treblecock Studio and about your business. And to all the listeners out there, remember, stay home, stay healthy, and shop local.
Great. Thanks a lot, Kris.